Hey race fans, welcome back. We've got an exciting addition to the stable today, a prancing horse to add to the stable indeed. A Ferrari FXX-K Evoluzione. So we're going to get this thing prepped for the track, but while we do that, let's talk about this car and why I picked it to add to the collection. Number one is the fit, finish, and detail. Carrera nailed it. I was initially apprehensive about spending the amount of money on this car that it commands on the secondary market, but as soon as I put it on the track, it was perfect. It seems to have even more clear coat than other Carrera products that I have. It just looks phenomenal. Even things like the fan shroud for the radiators and the hood are molded into there. There's 3-color printing on the rubber. It's completely accurate to the track car, which is already a bonkers machine. Now on my track, I run no magnets with urethane tires to give me the most quote-unquote realistic scale experience of driving a real race car. So my basic tuning is going to differ from everybody else's basic tuning and will probably differ from yours. But what we're going to do today, and what I do before I put anything down on a track to put a time into the race app, is that I make sure I remove all the magnets from the chassis, swap out the rear stock tires for urethane tires, and lubricate the pinion gear and axles. This will then give every car kind of the same baseline to start with. Looks like your typical Carrera digital car in here, nothing too crazy. So while we get this serviced and ready to go, let's talk a little bit about the Ferrari FXX-K Evoluzione. So I'm a car guy first and a slot car guy second. I only picked up the slot car hobby this year in 2024, but I've been obsessed with cars since I could drive at 16. So usually when I pick a slot car to add to my collection, it's because I'm a fan of that car, or that car means something personal to me, or maybe I owned that car at one time, or maybe I love the history that that car has in racing and competition. Well, the FXX-K isn't personally special to me. It has no racing pedigree. I'd never be able to own one. This is a car that's so exclusive that Ferrari has to invite you to even own it. So why pick it? It is the coolest track toy ever designed. But before we get into the cool racing technology stuff, you can't talk about the FXX-K Evo without talking about the ridiculous exclusivity that would come alongside of it. The American comedian Jay Leno famously won't buy Ferraris to add to his 100-plus car historical collection because he, quote, doesn't want to have to give someone $25,000 cash in an envelope under the table. He's of course being funny, but there's truth to that in makes like Ferrari and Porsche, where high-end rare allocations only come to those who have already spent a certain amount of money with the brand. Ferrari then, of course, being Ferrari, ratchets things up to 11. Because this car, in order to own it, you need to be invited to purchase it. And when you purchase it, you may not take it home with you. It stays with Ferrari. And you may not drive it on the road, because it is not road legal. In fact, at the time of release of these cars, there were only 9 racetracks in the world that you could drive it on. Why? Because this car requires the full support of everything that Ferrari's Formula One technology and racing teams can throw at it. If you want a track toy that has basically every piece of Ferrari F1 and GT technology in it, this is your car. It's unsure how many are actually out there, because you'll never see them on a public road, and they're only ever a track toy. In addition, this car is based off of the LaFerrari, and so at some point, not only was this an exclusive model, there was also an upgrade package to existing LaFerraris. All that said, best guess is there's probably only about 40 of these in the world kicking around. And this really is more of a testbed than anything of racing technology. Even Ferrari themselves say. FXX-K owners are, quote, supercar enthusiasts eager to share the development of technologically innovative content with the prancing horse technicians through driving a closed-wheel laboratory car. Because it's exclusive and because it's a rolling customer testbed, we can't really be sure exactly what every car is, but we do know that it does share the same power plant with the LaFerrari, which is a 6.3-liter V12 paired with an electric motor for a combined output of 1,036 brake horsepower and 664 foot-pounds of torque. Then you swap in a 7-speed F1 dual-clutch gearbox, 345 section rear tires, and its party piece, an entire aerodynamics package that increases downforce by up to 30% overall from the standard FXX-K. Combine that with weight savings and an F1-inspired KERS recovery system for exits out of a corner, and this car is essentially Ferrari building a Formula One car as close as possible without actually getting there. It looks like we got everything buttoned up here, so we're going to get this closed up and get it onto the track for some testing. The one thing I have found with is if you do pick one of these up, be a little careful when you're taking the body on and off. There are some rather fragile strakes and dive planes and pieces of aero and bodywork that stick out and get a little sticky, get a little finicky, and I took it gingerly, but I was afraid of snapping a few pieces off here. But took it slow and we eventually got it. To be honest, that fragility has me a little worried about running it really hard around the racetrack. But, I run no magnets, so when there is a D-slot, it's not necessarily as terrible or as catastrophic as it would be otherwise. So let's get it buttoned up and back down onto the track. We'll get it started up and enjoy the sweet, sweet sounds of that V12. While we get a baseline time and see how it fares against the rest of the cars that already exist in the collection. There you go, Stig. There's the old tires. Let's do it. Love it, love it, love it. It's absolutely one of the smoothest running cars so far that I own. It feels a lot like driving the BMW 320. Yeah, this thing is definitely fast, definitely fun, definitely gorgeous, and the results speak for themselves. Number 2 overall. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on Circuit Society.